This project made me quit knitting for, I want to say, about 3 or 4 months. Welcome to episode 2 of Digital Pearls. This is a knit and crochet podcast. Our topics for today are my makes for the summer, what I want to read this summer, and also where I want to visit. I kind of want to get out more, so kind of like a summer bucket list. All right, so our first whip is a pair of socks. I visited New Orleans recently for Essence Fest, and I bought sock yarn from a local store there. So it's in a hank, and I'm a crazy person who doesn't wind their hanks, so it's just kind of like this. It's so pretty. I've never bought yarn that's like been dyed this way, like hand dyed yarn before. I've only knit things in solid colors, like multiple colors, but like solid color yarn. So this is definitely a first for me. I can't wait to see how these socks work up. I did cast on already. I'm currently using, I think these are 2.75 millimeter needles. And these are the smallest needles I've ever used to make something. So it's definitely gonna take me a while, but thankfully they're socks, so they should work up pretty quickly. I already made a mistake. I don't know how, but like, I don't know if the camera will focus. I don't know how, but like I already messed up by like tucking a short row somewhere. I think when I put it down and picked it back up, I couldn't tell what was going on. And so like one side is longer than the other. I don't even know if you guys can like really see it. Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, I'm gonna have to start over. But thankfully I've only worked like, I wanna say like 6 rows. So nothing too major. I do have to use Magic Loop, which I kind of hate, and I really, really, really need to invest in shorty needles. Yeah, it's not ideal. I thought I could just like thug it out, but I think if I'm going to continue making socks, I definitely would need to invest in a pair of shorter needles, just because it's so inconvenient to have to constantly like pull out the cord so you can work around in the loop. And also, I need to look up videos on Magic Loop. This sounds silly. I've never looked up a video on it, so maybe I'm doing it wrong, but like, I just feel like it's uncomfortable. I don't know. I'll see. I'll look into that. Oh, I didn't even give you the details on the yarn. So the sock yarn is Manos del Uruguay, Allegria, and it's a superwash merino and polyamide blend. I didn't realize it was superwash. Oh my God, just found that out right now. So I was really interested by this yarn because of the color, obviously, and then also like the little tag. So they're members of, if you can see, they are members of the World Fair Trade Organization, which I think is really great. And I really ideally want all of the yarn that I use in the future to be like something similar where we know that, the workers are being treated well and the yarn is coming from a good place. But yeah, it's 75% merino superwash, 25% polyamide, and it's in the color Manglar. So super excited to see how this works up. And also, I think, oh, it has the artisan who dyed it. Her name is Mirabelle. Ooh. So that's super cool. And yeah, I can't wait to see how these socks work up. I definitely need to start over and fix that cast on. This is my first time making socks, and I kind of got the idea because I was in New Orleans for Essence Fest, and I didn't want to just buy more shot glasses or t-shirts or things like that, keychains, stuff like that, where, they're souvenirs, but they're kind of like junk in a way. I have enough shot glasses to last me a lifetime. I don't need any more. So it's like, I was looking for something else, and I'm like, I literally knit and crochet. I could make something. And so I was on TikTok, I found this local yarn store, went to it, and of course saw this yarn. I was like, you know what, socks. Socks are great. Why? Because I feel like they perfectly represent travel. You wear socks on your feet, you have to walk around and travel. So boom, boom, boom. So I think that's what I want to do in the future. Anytime I go somewhere, find the local yarn store, grab some yarn, some sock yarn, and make a pair of socks. Can't wait. This is my first pair of socks on this journey, and I'm super excited to see what they look like. Also, when I first started knitting, I started with sweaters. So I kind of missed the like small garment phase where like I can make a small quick knit, and get that hit of dopamine. I really jumped to the deep end. So this is really great for me to take a step back from the major garments that take like at least a month to make for me. And hopefully this is something I can make in like a week, if I really sit down and put my mind to it, especially this weekend. So can't wait for them to be done. My second whip is the Tulip V-Neck sweater. It's so gorgeous. This was my first time doing cables. And so I was so excited to make it. My husband actually picked out the yarn for this project, the color. which I love so, so much. It's so pretty. It was meant to be like finished in the spring so I could wear it as a cute little spring knit. But this project made me quit knitting for, I want to say, about 3 or 4 months. And that's not because the project was hard to make in any way. The pattern was super simple, straightforward. The issue is that I just started knitting, I want to say in like November. Let's just say November. It may have been like a month or two before that. I had like picked up a pair of needles and like I was like constantly trying, but I wasn't really knitting. I think I finished my first garment in like November or December. So I'm still like a relatively new knitter. Like I just started in the fall winter season. So I was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna learn all the skills. I'm gonna jump in. I didn't start with socks, anything like that. I jumped straight into sweater making. The first thing I made was a sweater for my husband. So I was like, yeah, cables sound super great. This pattern is popular on Ravelry. The designer's popular. So I'm like, I can't wait to make something like this. The back has cables as well. But I didn't know anything about bust shaping or waist shaping or hip shaping, anything like that. So the issue that I found is that most knitting patterns, like the really, really popular ones, most of the designers and the models and a lot of the makers are people who are like more flat chested. That isn't an issue for them. That's great for them. The problem is I am not flat chested. I don't know. You can see I am not flat chested. So anytime I make something, I now know that I need to consider bust shaping. It's just non-negotiable for me. For reference, I wear a triple D. So yeah, it's just there's no way of getting around it. This sweater is gorgeous. When I put it on, it tints up in the front. Like, let me try it on for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is what the garment looks like when it's completely on. In the back, it's down here, right? In the front, it tints up all the way up here. I could go in and add like short row shaping, but I've just never have like done that for the bust. And also this is a patterned, you know, project. And so I would feel more comfortable like trying to navigate bust shaping, waist shaping, hip shaping, all of that on just a plain stockinette garment. I found the perfect pattern for this. Since I don't feel comfortable altering this pattern with the cables and just all that's going on here, I found a plain stockinette garment that is the perfect construction, that has bust, waist, and hip shaping already included in the pattern. So I want to try my hand at that and maybe revisit this pattern, but I'm definitely going to frog this piece. It's gorgeous, but it's just not for me. Also, I had my husband and my younger sister try it on. My husband's obviously a man, so he has like, you know, no bust to speak of. So he tried it on, fits perfect. He didn't have any of the tenting. It was like a minor tenting, but like it was barely noticeable, you know? My younger sister, she also has like a smaller bust. She tried it on, same thing where like it wasn't tenting up nearly as much on her. Also in the back, I have like this chicken wing situation going on where like it's just all this extra fabric. And when I had my husband and younger sister try it on, they didn't have that situation. Like it's my bust is distorting the sweater. There's just no way around it. And I don't think just adding like a short row or multiple short rows in front to like lengthen this is gonna solve the issue. The issue is just that like up here, like I need bust shaping, like darts and all of that up here, rather than just down here. So yeah, this is definitely gonna have to get frogged and I'm kind of sad about it, but I'm also really happy. Like the point of me knitting is that I'm gonna make pieces that actually fit my body and I can wear for a long time rather than single use items that I wear for an event and then I hate the way they look on me, so I throw them away and never look at them again. So yeah, can't wait for that. Oh my God, that sweater is 100% wool and I'm burning up, like just sitting in here right now. And oh yeah, that garment that I'm gonna end up making is definitely gonna be fall winter. I do want to try it out now because the next thing up on my list is the Ophelia top. I've seen this top all over social media and I've seen it for a while now, but I was afraid because of once I started having issues with that sweater with like the bust, I kind of got discouraged and I was like, nothing's gonna fit me. I'm gonna be just stuck in boxy, oversized sweater land forever. And that was before I actually looked at the pattern and saw that it had the shaping included. And I've also watched a few videos now, so I kind of understand like how it's gonna work. I'm really, really excited. I'm just excited to find like a designer who actually has taken bust into consideration, especially because knitting is so female dominated. I assumed that more designers would, you know, think about the fact that a lot of women have larger busts. I don't know. That was something that literally upset me so badly that I just stopped knitting for a while. So I'm very, very, grateful. Now I found a couple of patterns like the Ophelia top where that's included into the pattern. I've seen multiple people create it, even people with smaller busts. So like it's not just like a large bust only top. I've seen people with smaller busts create it, and it actually looks better on them than like a boxy sweater looks on them. Like boxy sweaters look great on people who have like slimmer shoulders, smaller bust, just smaller frames in general. Just the way it drapes nicely on them. But like even a more fitted top, like everyone has a waist. Even if it's not super defined, everyone has a waist. So it's great to see a pattern that like actually takes that into consideration. Not everything needs to be a potato sack. Sometimes that's the vibe, especially when it's colder out. You want like a big comfy sweater. But like during the summertime, I want something that's more slim fitting, cute, like a cute, dainty little top. And I love the lace detailing on this. It's so, so, so pretty. It's the perfect girly top. Like I really am so excited to make this. Everything I made since I started knitting has been like a bigger sweater. And this sounds so weird, but I think people with larger busts can relate. Sometimes when you have a larger bust, it seems like you would feel more feminine in clothing, but like sometimes you can feel more masculine. Like I have a larger bust and broader shoulders, and sometimes I feel so like a linebacker in clothes, and it's ridiculous because in order for things to fit the bust, they need to be larger, but they're not, taking it in at the waist. And so the waist shaping is just yes, 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 yes. I can't wait to make this. The recommended yarn, I think, is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. I can't wait to use this yarn. I'm thinking I want to go with either plum or maybe one of the greens. I think I'm going to go with plum, actually. I don't even know. Forget the greens. We're going with plum. I really want to make something that is purple, even though I'm literally, maybe I shouldn't do plum. Wait, because I'm making this, and this is like a really pretty, like light purple. I don't know if I should do two purples in a row. You know what? We should do a color analysis. Maybe that in my next podcast episode, so maybe next week, we can do a color analysis because I don't really know my colors. Like I think I'm in autumn, but I don't know if I'm like a true autumn, a dark autumn, or a light autumn. I think those are like the three. I think I'm in autumn though. We'll do a quiz. We'll do a quiz together because I need to create a color palette. So far, I've just been kind of wearing whatever. I want to look great in the clothes that I wear. I typically default to black, but I'm trying to get away from that. Like I'm making my own clothes. They should be colorful. I should have a wardrobe that I can pull from. And most of the pieces go together because they're within like the same color palette. They don't have to be matchy matchy. Say I'm want to be like an earthy girl. Like all of the colors you pull, greens to browns, the rust colors, all of those go together even though they aren't matchy. So I might find a palette like that for me. I want to be an earthy girl. Like I have locks, so I'm kind of a little earthy by default, even though I'm like not truly earthy in nature. But yeah, I don't know. I want to have a palette like that where I can pull colors from. And I think Knitting for Olive on their website can filter the colors by your color palette. So like if you know you're true autumn, like you can go on their website, click the drop down, and then select true autumn, and you'll see all of the colors that fit into that color palette, which I think is great. I can't wait. I feel like this summer is gonna be great, which is, let me back up. My current whips are not summer related at all, but that's totally fine. One of them is gonna end up being a fall piece. The top that I'm gonna end up creating is, I don't think I actually said the name earlier when I was talking about it. So the pattern that I ended up finding is the Sabrina V Neck sweater, and it's by Star-Crossed Knits. I think her name is Tamara Jordan. She's also the author of the Ophelia top. So I'm gonna be making two of her projects or two of her patterns back to back. I really can't wait to make the Sabrina V Neck. He recommends actually pure silk for this project, but I'm gonna end up using the merino for my sweater, merino wool. And I think you're supposed to hold the pure silk double. So that should end up being a worsted weight according to Ravelry. And the yarn that I have in this sweater, I think this is Cascade 220 if I'm not mistaken. And I'll put the color in on the video somewhere so you guys can find it. It's really pretty, to be honest. I think the stretch from the wool will also help in the shaping. I know she suggests pure silk, and it looks like the shaping is great with the pure silk alone. So I think it'll be even better with the wool just having that elasticity. So yeah, I'm really excited to make this pattern. And after that, obviously the Ophelia Tank by Tamara Jordan. And that one has like the lace detailing, which I really love. It's so delicate, so feminine. And after the trauma with this sweater, I really want a piece that's very delicate and feminine. And then also the Ophelia Tank is something that I can wear in the summer and the warmer months. I think I will do the Sabrina V-Neck first, even though that is for the colder times, just because I want to use up this yarn before I buy anything else. I have so much yarn in my stash right now. It's like ridiculous. And I'm not a person who buys yarn just because I like the yarn. I buy yarn for projects. Usually what ends up happening is like, I don't like the project, so I'll switch it up. And that's what's happening now. Right now, I have yarn left over from this, and then obviously the yarn in this sweater. I have the sock yarn that I'm, gonna make the socks with. I have a bunch of cotton yarn because I was gonna make a crochet tapestry. I ended up hating the tapestry, and I also made a 6-day star blanket. I have yarn left over from that. I think I'm gonna make another one. That's a crochet blanket. And that'll probably be more like a fall time project. So like I have a bunch more yarn that I didn't even mention. That's usually what ends up happening. So I'm trying to use up as much yarn as I can before I buy new yarn. So hopefully I can get the Sabrina V-Neck done before it gets too cold, because I really, really wanna wear the Ophelia Tank. I wanna make it both as like the tank top and then also as a long sleeve. I don't think I really love the way like a t-shirt like sleeve length looks on me. I think I prefer like a tank top or a long sleeve. But since the Sabrina V-neck is pretty similar to the Ophelia tank, just without the lace detailing, I don't know. I think I may leave it as a tank top, but if it's too cold outside, I probably will make it a long sleeve, because I love to wear my makes. Everything I've made, I have worn into the ground, at least for the first month or two after I made it. So I anticipate that it'll be the same with the Ophelia top. Now let's move on to reads. So my TBR is ridiculously long. I keep adding books and I need to stop. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and when I was first learning how to knit and I was like still crocheting at that time, I listened to a crazy amount of audiobooks, and that's like how I was getting through my TBR pretty quickly. Then when I stopped knitting, I kind of just like stopped doing all of my hobbies. I think I just kind of shut down for like a few months. I'm still going out with friends. I'm still hanging out. Like, so I still had a social life, but like as far as hobbies, I kind of just stopped all of my hobbies, including reading. So I really, really want to get back into reading this summer. And to do that, I've picked up 3 books that I want to get through before the end of the summer. And in my mind, like the end of the summer, like a school time, like when school starts, so the end of August. Even though I know that's like not technically the end. I don't know, when is the last day of summer? Last day of summer. Last day of summer is Tuesday, September 22nd. So I have like a lot of time. First up on my TBR is Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalola. And the description for the book is 28-year-old Kiki Banjo hosts the popular podcast, The Heartbeat, solving romantic conundrums and dishing out life advice. While she plays the love guru for her listeners, behind the scenes, she's been hanging on by a thread. Woo. When a major broadcast deal falls through and her latest relationship implodes, Kiki is left wondering if she ever had the answers. Then Kiki finds herself face to face with her biggest mistake, her ex-boyfriend, Malachi. The smooth-talking, absurdly handsome, annoyingly perceptive man who stole her heart and then shattered it. While Kiki's approaching rock bottom, Malachi's been on the rise as a filmmaker, and now she has no choice but to play nice if she wants to save her career. Forced to work together for the summer, both are hell-bent on ignoring the smoldering chemistry between them. But when their undeniable attraction sizzles back to life, Kiki and Malachi will have to face their fears and decide what they're willing to risk for another chance. A glittering modern love story, Sweet Heat is about chasing dreams and being true to our hearts. So I really think the best way to get me back into reading full swing is to start with a romance book. Normally when I fall into a reading slump, I end up going back to like something familiar and then I'll go back into reading. But with this, I feel like this book sounds really, really great. It has 4.28 stars on Storygraph. I've heard about it on social media for a while. I want to say I started this book and it was really, really good. But I think I started it around the time I was crashing out about the sweater and I put it down. So from what I remember, like it was still really, really early, probably like the first 20 pages, and it was interesting. So I want to pick this book back up and give it another go. And I'm super excited to jump back into reading. I feel like reading expands your mind so much, even when you're reading stories that aren't like, super serious. Just having something to like focus on and a story to follow, characters to love, and a story to learn from just expands your worldview. So super excited about this book. And then, like I was saying, I normally start with a book that I have already read, or like maybe even like a fan fiction, like something like where it's just simple fluff and I don't have to use my brain for anything. I think I want to reread Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And that book is like, That book is like it is, you either love it or hate it. Like I know people who hate that book, hate it so much. I gave that book 5 stars. Okay, sue me. I like fun. All right, and I it was like a sneaky way to get me into the Omegaverse. I'm not into the Omegaverse, guys. I'm not against the Omegaverse. I'm a vampire girly, I think. So I'm trying to get there. This is the perfect entry point. Like if you are trying to get into that world, because it like the main character Misery is a vampire and she is forced into this arranged marriage with this alpha and a werewolf pack, obviously. And so, you know, they're trying to navigate that. I don't want to like spoil the book or anything like that, but like it's a sneaky way to get you into the Omegaverse because like it's told from the perspective of a vampire. So it's not like she's going through these things, she's just like witnessing them, but she's giving her like vampire perspective, things like that. So it was the perfect entryway into that. I think I need like the duo. I don't think I can just do straight werewolf the same way I can with vampires. I don't know what it is. And this is not to say I was team Edward during Twilight. I was definitely team Jacob. I thought, truthfully, I didn't read the books. I still haven't. That's on my TBR to read the books. I was team Jacob purely because Jacob's hotter. I'm sorry. I was I was not feeling Edward. He was just not giving what it was supposed to give. I'm sorry. If you're gonna be old, you have to at least be hot. Like I just can't get behind the super old man not being the hotter option. I just couldn't, you know? To be fair to Robert Pattinson, I think he has been looking better recently. I think in Twilight, I didn't like how pale he was, which is crazy. Like, of course I'm a vampire girly, but I want you can be pale, but don't look sickly. To me, he looked a little sickly and it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. You know what I mean? Like we need to come up with vampire stories where they can tan. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm tired of people looking sickly. But anyway, I'm thinking of that as like my second read. Just that like first read is something new, something fun, and then second read like just to ensure that I don't like slip back into my bad habits of not reading something that like I know I love already and I have forgotten enough of like the details, the minute details in the book that I can reread it again and still be like, oh my God, I forgot that happened. That's so fun. So that is definitely number 2 on my list. Number 3 on my list is more of a serious read. I do try to like alternate between fiction and nonfiction just to, you know, keep my mind sharp and keep learning things. You can learn so much from fiction, but it's primarily through like empathy exercises rather than facts, if you know what I mean. My nonfiction read for the summer is going to be The Warmth of Other Suns, the epic story of America's Great Migration. And I obviously want to pair like nonfiction with fiction. Like I want to have my fun, but I also want to learn. That's the beauty in reading is that you can learn so much, so much like outside of your like limited worldview. Even though this book is like very relevant to like me as a Black person, but it's just like learning about the past, like outside of your lived experience, life, the lives of so many people who came before you. And so I'm really excited to read it. Oh, I should probably tell you what the book is about. Oh yeah. I'll read the synopsis is kind of long. So I'll probably just like shorten it. I kind of know what it's about. It's pretty much the decades long migration of Black citizens who fled the South for northern and western cities in search of a better life. Exodus of almost 6 million people changed the face of America. Wilkerson compares his epic migration to the migrations of other peoples in history. She interviews more than 1,000 people and gains access to new data and official records to write this definitive and vividly dramatic account of how these American journeys unfolded, altering our cities, our country, and ourselves. So I think it would be a great story for me to read, obviously very relevant to my history, my culture, my family. So can't wait to read that and learn, you know, do the knowledge. Last up, places I want to visit. So I really want to find my way outside a lot more. I've already gone a few places this summer, but I want to find myself out more just locally. So on my to-do list is to visit multiple local yarn stores. I've only been to one near me. That was a while ago. And I really want to go out and find more because I know there are more local yarn stores. There's at least 2 that I've heard about just from talking to people. So most of my yarn has been purchased online, which is great because there's so much variety online, but it's like I can't see and feel things. So I really would like to have a better knowledge of fibers. So I think getting out more will definitely help with that. Also, second place, I want to visit some type of like trail/nature spot. We have so many, so many parks, so many sorry, my dog just came in. Okay. We have so many parks around here, so many trails, just nature in general that I really want to get out. Like I feel like I haven't been to like the metro parks, for example, since I was in grade school. And that's ridiculous because they're literally here and I'm literally here. So I really, really want to get out more and just be one with nature. You know, I'm trying to be earthy a little bit. So I'll leave links to the patterns, the yarns, and the books that I recommended all in the description. Please drop a comment. I would love to talk to you guys. And that's kind of the point of this channel. I think right now I'm sitting at 16 subscribers. So I would love to get to know all of you. And anyone who's new here, even if you aren't subscribed, would love to chat with you. If you guys have any questions about any of the projects that I'm working on, or the makes, or the reads, or literally anything, I'll be happy to answer them. That's it for episode 2 of Digital Pearls. Bye.